This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a nice Saturday afternoon. We got some stuff to talk about. Got my guy Tony Crow in the building. We're going to talk about all-star voting, MVP race. You know what I mean? Then it's got 4 players that could possibly be in the all-star conversation. 2 of them, you know, is going to be there. 2 of them, the other 2, well, we'll see what happens. I got my brother Tony Crow in the building. And you know, we're gonna break this one down. We're gonna start by talking about Karl-Anthony Towns. All right, because we know Cat's gonna be he's gonna be there. There's no doubt about it. Cat's gonna be there. We're gonna talk about that, then we'll get on to the rest, ladies and gentlemen. My brother from another mother, Tony Crow.
Bridges comes back to get it. Towns the flush.
And
watch Bridges in a nick of time coming up with the loose ball. Towns, they've been omnipresent on the glass now. Both ends. Towns, another three. Karl-Anthony Towns now becoming a factor for the Knicks. Brunson back. Towns puts it on the floor, drives past Lopez, and the slam. So Lopez has to come up and contest. Goes around. 1 for 7. Towns, he can find the range. That's his fourth. They did not come into this series with a defensive reputation. But always a nice pass. And a foul.
Both see a lot of double teams, and what they both have been able to do is get good looks for their teammates because of it.
Towns just overwhelmed.
And we know
52-31. Knicks 58% from the field, 14 assists. Towns spins, leans, count it, and 1 in 10 minutes, which was very unpool-like.
Now trying to adopt to being a point guard.
Towns on the catch and the flush.
He's a definite in my book. Is he a definite
The agility.
in your book that he makes the All-Star?
Then the hostilities.
Is he a starter or an All-Star?
Here comes Antonio Reeves, the rookie.
Blocked,
Swatted out of bounds from Towns. We've seen some surprise.
You see a little more intensity by the Pelicans now. We mentioned they had not been asserting themselves defensively. Doing a good job now moving their feet.
Another nice pass. Brunson to
That in
Towns.
itself makes him an automatic. Right?
Brunson makes his move, throws it up, and Towns throws it down. Brunson looking, nice feed, and Towns with the slam for 6.
The Wagner's trying to go.
Towns with the.
You see that now.
I think it's
Once the ball is over, they don't get back. And we saw it on Hart.
He was a starter last year.
So again, right here,
He was a
ill-advised
starter
foul.
last year. I'm saying
control of this
all-star in
game.
general.
Karl-Anthony Towns
I'm not going
with another three-pointer.
That pass stolen by Hart ahead to Towns.
Powers to the paint.
It's just because I know it is a.
Well, the Knicks had 12.
It is
And
a
they almost have that again. Bridges and Towns now.
So that's up to us to get him in as a starter.
With the left hand this time, another three-point play.
To get him as a starter.
There it is.
He's seeing it everywhere. Alley-oop to Towns.
Working to perfection.
What
Brunson drawing the double.
in
Towns showing his stuff. So again, Towns propelling the Knicks
Let me
tonight.
get this sound from out of here. So let's start this over because I know I had some. I think that they could hear the highlight voices and whatnot. So I apologize for that. So I got the highlight voices out of there. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start this over. Karl-Anthony Towns. Anyway, we'll start over like this. My brother Tony Crow, what's popping with you, bro? We'll get it started right from the beginning and do it the way it's supposed to be done. My brother Tony Crow, what is popping with you, bro? How you feeling? You know, we're going to talk about this All-Star, the All-Star voting is here. You know what I mean? And obviously the Knicks are going to have 2 All-Stars. We assume that it's a shoo-in that the Knicks are going to have 2 All-Stars, right? Karl-Anthony Towns, who we see on your screen right now, and Jalen Brunson. So let's start by talking about Cat. He averages 22.4 points per game, 11.8 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game. You would think that he's a shoo-in to be an All-Star. Is he a shoo-in to start? I mean, obviously starting goes by the fan vote and all of that kind of stuff, right? Is he a shoo-in to you, though, to start?
I mean, actually, when I'm a revert and say, when I deep dive about it, he should be, right? You got a country behind you, DR. Shout out to DR.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And statistically, I don't know if there's a better center out there. Especially when you got to factor in games played, minutes played, and all that. Yeah. So should be.
He should be. What other center would be in the East would be more popular than him?
Popular, and that's where you got it, right? Popular, I'm not sure. Embiid would have been the only guy that, you know what I mean, I would say has that popularity, and he's not playing enough.
But he's not really playing enough. Yeah, he's not really playing enough to have to worry about. You know what I mean? What do you think about Cat's play so far this season? How do you feel about it?
I think he's finding his way fine. Like I always said from the beginning, he and Brunson have the biggest adjustments into the Mike Brown implementing. You know what I mean? Like I think he voiced some struggles early or some confusion early.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the midst of that, he was still performing, right? It was still Cat numbers. You know what I mean? It just didn't look the same. And for him, it probably just didn't feel the same. But he was still doing what he does. I think he's coming along nicely. I think he's looking a lot more comfortable in his role. I think part of that is the more definitive center position, which I think helps him personally, internally. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he's not playing that 4 and switching to the 5 and, where am I going to be at and what I got to learn. So it was it took a lot of adjustment away from him by starting at the 5. I think his defense has gotten visibly better. You know what I mean? Since he's been at the 5, more than just switching back and forth. I can't. I have no complaints about his play because I know the adjustment was going to be there, and he didn't really struggle when he wasn't playing well. You know what I mean? Like he was still impacting the games.
Do you feel like, because I kind of do. Do you feel like he's having more inconsistent games this year than maybe he did last year?
Yeah.
Because I feel like he is. I feel like there's more games so far this year where he's, 8 shots, 9 shots, 11 shots.
All right, this is going to sound funny, and you may disagree with me, but I think the same could be said about Brunson this year.
I think so.
I do. And this is not now his is not to the level of Cat. You know what I mean? Like we still here, talking about potential, where he stands amongst the greats. So it's not to that point, but inconsistent. Let me point out some of the things.
Okay.
Now, long term, you may disagree, but I think this early in the year to be shooting the free throws and being shaky at the free throw line, that's new. You know what I mean? Like he usually builds to that point. You know what I mean? Like it starts off, good at the free throw line. Damn, what was my other point about Brunson and adjusting? But basically, it's an adjustment period for him too. So I think missing the chippies at the, you know what I mean? Like he's missed more shots at the rim like early this year than typically normal for him. And when it's happened in the past, it was far less in between. I'll say that it wasn't like him in a run of just maybe not shooting the ball well per se.
Okay.
Just a couple little things I see that you know what I mean. Yeah, he's still playing a little bit inconsistent, and it may be me looking for it, knowing that I felt like those two guys had the biggest adjustment, and you know what I mean. Other guys may be more seamless.
I mean, okay. I do agree that those guys had, adjustments to make. Right. For some reason, with Cat, I feel like I don't even know if it. I mean, I guess it's the adjustment. Right. I guess you're right about that. It's the adjustment. I just feel like he's had more games that were just kind of there's been more, just more inconsistent play. I feel like more games where he's not involved offensively, or involved less offensively. I don't know if it's by design with Mike Brown, just not that he's not involving Cat, but more like don't force it. I feel like there's been more games where he faded away. Like from the beginning of last season, there were a few games, and when I say fading away, I don't mean fade away on the jump shot. I mean more
I know
like mentally
disappeared
fading.
during the game.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I feel like there's been more games like that from him this season than obviously I want. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I've noticed?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his playmaking has increased. His playmaking, and I say that like his role as a playmaker has increased.
Okay.
This year. I also haven't seen him go off with Brunson on the floor as much as we did last year. Last year it was more of a mixed bag where he could have his moments alongside Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this year most of his moments have been without Brunson on the floor. More of his moments have been without Brunson on the floor. And I think that might attribute to some of it some of it as well.
Okay. Because I thought that was supposed to change. and I'm not trying to say this to like badmouth Mike Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking just, with us upgrading the offense per se.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was part of what we were doing. We were trying to change that. We were trying to make it so that it's more of an equal opportunity for everybody. Shoot, Brunson might be shooting more shots this year than he might be shooting more shots this year than last year.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to check it out and see. I'm not exactly sure.
I know it was close the last time I seen, and that was 2 or 3 games ago. It was close.
It was close.
And his time of possession was higher as well. But how long he holds the ball was way lower.
Mm.
So he actually had the ball more so far, but how long he holds it and gets off it, holds it and
It's,
makes it a shot or whatever. It was a shorter amount of time.
Shorter amount of time, right? Yeah. Yeah,
Do you think this goes back? Because we had this conversation last year on, you said you don't want to, say put it on Mike Brown, but we had the same discussion last year when it wasn't Mike Brown, and whose fault is it, right? When we had these same type of conversations about Cat, and is it up to him to demand the role or demand the shots or demand the position, or is it up to Brunson to find him and utilize him, or is it up to Thibodeau to implement something to get him going and all that? So I feel like it's the same as that conversation.
Yeah. At times I do feel that it's up to. I mean, obviously it's up to Brunson to get him involved, but sometimes I feel like it's up to Cat to demand it too. You know what I mean? I feel like it's up to Cat to say, especially if Brunson's not on the floor, right? Then I don't understand. And he's the best player on the floor. And even during those times, I see him deferring, if you want to say, to other players, allowing other players to kind of dominate the ball instead of demanding, like, yo, give me the rock. Like, it's my time.
Do you think, or do you agree that even though you feel how you feel about him in that sense, do you think he's played bigger this year than last year? Like
Bigger.
We've seen more attacking the rim, even more bravado. You know what I mean? In some of his, when he has his moments, I feel like they've been bigger moments than, in the past. I honestly feel like he seems more comfortable now than ever before.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if he's utilized as much as I would like, though. To you know what I mean, like to your point, just finding some easier shots for him. I think he's getting guys easier shots more than guys are getting him easier shots.
Okay.
I think he's still, he's still got to work for his, however he get it. You know what I mean? Like it's still, it's nobody like really. That's what I haven't seen this year at all. You know what I mean? Like everything he does, he does have to work for it, but he's getting other guys looks. You know what I mean? Which is a nice wrinkle.
And he part of it is, I think, the style of center that he's I don't want to say he's got the old school style of an old school body as a center, right? But he plays more of a new school style of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And so it's are you getting him off curls? How do you make the game easier for him besides getting him open threes? Are you getting him off curls? I don't know if you're actually getting him off curls and those type of things. You know what I mean? How do you make the game easier for him?
If he was the main option on this team or just a team in general, what would be some of the things you implement to, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to just give him the ball and let everything be difficult for him. And, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, when you're the main guy on the team, you start having to adjust to the adjustments of the defense, right? So you're going to find these ways. Number one, I feel like trying to actively get some switches where he could use his size in the post because I think if he's in the post and he just, offensive foul aside, but you know what I mean, if he's in the post and he just uses his size and his body, I think he's pretty good. When he's not overdoing it. But
right.
I think that would be a way to just get him some easier looks throughout the game. I don't think it always has to be a three. I think he's talented enough to and I think you feed him, you find these little plays for him here and there. I think he becomes a little bit more engaged, a little bit more
I agree
happy,
with that.
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that becomes a changing factor as well. So
I definitely agree with that. I think if we're talking about finding ways for him, right? I think obviously the pick and roll. We don't use a pick and roll between him and Brunson enough, in my opinion. I think we can do it a lot more. And not just a pick and pop. I'm saying, a pick and roll to the basket, let him try to get a bucket rolling to the basket. We seen it with Tyler last night, I think. Beautiful pick and roll. Right? I think we've got to utilize more of that, but Tyler doesn't play as much as Brunson. So we got to utilize it with Brunson.
And to me, that's where it becomes on Brunson, because it ends up being more of a pick and Brunson go more than anything else most of the time. You know what I mean? So whether he's rolling or whether he's popping, it still ends up being Brunson's decision on what is done. You know what I mean? So Brunson's got to make a conscious effort to find it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Do you want to scan?
Do you hear that?
I do hear that.
You can hear that? I don't know if they can hear that.
All right. Put a little B or.
I think they do hear that.
All right, you can place the window. Okay?
Man, hopefully the order comes in. Hopefully the order comes out right. Let me go ahead and get to the caller. Caller, you're live, man.
Yo, my bad, y'all. This is JB, man. How y'all doing?
What's
Tony
going on?
and Sim, how you guys doing, man?
That's not your fault, bro. I didn't have the right setting. No, that's not your fault.
Yeah.
For the most part, we didn't hear that.
Running around getting stuff for the fam. I'm sorry, man.
I feel you. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. Hopefully they get your order right.
They better.
Well, we good.
Well, yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Hey, y'all, it's been a while, so I appreciate you guys always for taking the call. The conversation you guys, it was a great conversation between you two, first of all, about the whole, the towns, and, I think part of it, and I think both of you guys said eloquently, I think part of it too is the players that they are. Brunson is a scoring guard. Mm-hmm. I think their styles work in some facets, and both of their playing styles maybe are detriment to each other. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Sim, it doesn't seem like they use the pick and roll enough. So I don't know if that's on Coach Brown or last year when we had Tibbs, or is that on the point guard? Like, set your big man up. Get him some looks. So that's a hard kind of, I don't want to say dilemma, because we've been playing good most of the year, but definitely something we still continue I think we need to work on, because that would unlock another aspect of our offense that we haven't really seen. Even last year, we didn't really see an effective pick and roll with those two.
Right.
So we see with other players, like I've seen Mikal set up Mitch for a lob. I've seen Tyler, I've seen other players set other players up, but for whatever reason, those two are still not on the same page when it comes to that. So, who knows, but just overall, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Man, what a week it's been. Great basketball, man. Like I talked to you, Tony. I don't think I talked to you, Sim, in a while, but what a pleasure it is to watch Jalen Brunson in his prime. Like, when he's not playing anymore, I still think he's taken for granted. Maybe not amongst Knicks fans because we see him every night. But I think he's severely still underrated in NBA talk. I don't know if that's just a Knicks hate kind of thing amongst the national media and other fan bases in the nation. You know, Knicks, for whatever reason, the Knicks are hated for some reason, but that's fine. But what a pleasure it is to watch him, man. That game win against the Pacers. I mean, you know, that's Kobe-esque. That's Jordan-esque. I'm not saying he's those players. I'm not comparing them. But that will to win and just that rip your heart out, man. It's just, I just really hope Knicks fans are really appreciating watching this guy, because who knows when his time is done? Who knows when we'll have another player like this?
Right.
So, man, just kudos to Brunson, man. Just an impeccable player. Just even, you know, I can only imagine if he was 5 inches taller, man, he'd be probably the best player in the game. You know, so just a blessing, man. A few more things, and I'll let you guys go because I know it's the weekend. Another player too, Cat. That pass he had to OG in that cup game. I mean, fellas, how many bigs have you seen, whether you guys played back in the day or in the league, that can even make a pass like that to OG while being doubled?
No doubt. No doubt about that.
Just immense talented players, man. I mean, I know Cat gets on our nerves with certain things he does, our mannerisms, and, you know, does he play hard all the time? You know, those kind of things. But, man, just a very talented center, man. Just him and Brunson were just touched by God, in my opinion. Maybe not from an athletic standpoint, but just the skill of playing basketball. You know, he's another player. I think Towns, when his time is done, I think, in my opinion, I think Knicks fans still underrate Cat for whatever the reason it is. I know a lot of fans didn't like the trade with Julius, so maybe some people are still kind of holding on to that. But to me personally, he's a better player than in my opinion, I think he's a better player than Julius. Does he have the fire, maybe, the bravado, the in your face? I mean, we could debate on that, but he's just an immensely talented player, and it's just been a pleasure watching those two. So.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Hey. And one last thing, I'll let you guys.
Yes,
one last thing, I'll let you guys go. And this is why I'm always skeptical of giving up on young talent. Watching now yesterday's game, I'm chalking that up. These guys have been on a roller coaster ride the last week. A lot of traveling, you know, back to back, NBA Cup, Vegas, you know. So I'm not really tripping on yesterday's loss too much because, you know, I think those guys are just exhausted, in my opinion. But what a treat it's been to even watch Tyler, man. Just the passing, the aggressiveness he's played with, his ability to defend. You know, so I'm always skeptical when people are quick to trade young players. Now, it's not always going to work out, but as far as that Jose Alvarado, I mean, that's out the window. To me, it was before Tyler came onto the scene, but right now, I don't hear nothing about no backup point guard. If we're looking for an upgrade, it has to be a wing or maybe a 4. Who that is, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. But I'm just been very pleased this last week from the NBA Cup to the Pacers game, which I think was the best win of the season. You know, like I always say, man, I appreciate you guys for taking my call. I'm not gonna hold you. You guys are the best, and I want to say happy holidays to you guys. And I'll take it off here, fellas.
No doubt, appreciate you, bro. Peace. I think JB is right. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got to appreciate these guys while they're here. You know what I mean? Because you don't know when we're going to get another guy like Brunson. And we didn't plan for Brunson to be who he was. You know what I'm saying? You know, that wasn't anything that we actually planned for, but there he is.
To me, that's the reason why his ascension is what it is, and that's also not only did we not plan for him to be who he was, you know what I mean? Like he's taking the league by surprise too. You know what I mean? Nobody expected it. So he's been building his brand on this journey. You know what I mean? It's continuing to grow, and really, it's really only going to take the one unbiased person to start the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to hear it from Knicks fans, like to kind of open people's eyes.
Right.
It's going to have to come from the unbiased place.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And he's getting them comments. You know, I continue to see Kevin Garnett, former Celtic, you know what I mean, talk about Brunson and who he is and who he's becoming. Like, to me, those things mean something, especially when Celtics fans got to hear it. So, pull me out for 30 seconds. I got to grab the charger. My computer's going.
Okay. All right. You know, we're gonna let's talk about Brunson. Right. You've seen it on the screen. Jalen Brunson, ladies and gentlemen, 28.4 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, 6.5 assists. I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that Jalen Brunson is going to be an all-star. Right. But what's next for an all-star? And will he be the starter? I mean, right now, Jalen Brunson is, you talk about being popular. The dude is mad popular, right? Brunson is mega popular. He's especially with the young kids. You know what I'm saying? You see young kids, little kids all over the place all the time, rocking Brunson jerseys because he's small. You know what I mean? He's a little guy. So obviously, you know, he's gonna be popular. The coolest. Said, trust me, they're taking notice of Brunson. He might not have the superstar status, but they know JB is a dog. He's pretty damn close to the superstar status, I'll tell you that. You know, if you want to say he doesn't have it right now, maybe not, but he's pretty damn close to being a superstar in this league, you know, and he's going to be an all-star. The next step for him is MVP. Right. And ESPN has done their MVP voting or whatever, not voting, but, you know, they got their MVP ladder, if that's what you want to say. Right. And Brunson currently is 5th on that MVP ladder. Right. Tony, your thoughts on that? Jalen Brunson right now is 5th in MVP voting according to ESPN. So I should probably have that on the screen according to ESPN. 5th in MVP voting. They have, for whatever reason, they have Victor Wembanyama on the picture. I don't know why. They just decided that was the thing to do. But he is, you got Cade Cunningham just above him. Right, you got Jokic, SGA, and then somebody else. I forgot who it was. You were asking me earlier, do I think Mike Brown's, he's been stomping for Jalen Brunson, right? He's been stomping for him. How much do you think that is working? And how much do you think that's working, or is it just Brunson's play?
I think it's
and what he's been able to do.
I think it's definitely helped. I'm not gonna say it's the push to put him in the position where he is, but it was unprompted, so it didn't feel forced or strategic, even though it very well may have been. You know what I mean? Like it felt genuine when he did it, and I think it became a soundbite. You know what I mean? It became something for people around the league, beat wise, reporter wise, analyst wise, to talk about. You know what I mean? So it definitely put a spotlight for some people to, if they weren't paying attention, to go back, maybe look at some numbers. If they wasn't paying attention, maybe go back to and watch some games. And I will say this 100%. Playing in the cup where all the eyes are on you, new eyes are on you. You know what I mean? New fans are watching. I think that helped as well. Like, you know what I mean? That's more exposure. Winning the cup, obviously, helps. And yeah, so I think it all plays a part. And his stardom has been growing since he's got here. So
Right.
I expect it to continue to grow.
Yeah. I mean, his stardom is growing tremendously. You know what I mean? And not just in New York, everywhere. It's not at Steph Curry levels, obviously, but if he continues to do what he's doing, because he's almost redefining the game too, right? He's almost redefining the game. Just being a small guy playing, and the way that he's able to dominate a basketball game without having, superior speed and superior jumping ability and all that kind of stuff, just off of footwork and craftiness. It hasn't been too many guys today that can dominate a game that way. You know what I mean? And yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, as much as he's an inspiration to the small guards and the kids that aren't, 6'5", and they have aspirations to play basketball, as much as he, in the vein of a Steph Curry, where he became that motivational guy, like, oh, I could still dominate and be, a relatively small guard. I'm surprised more super athletes don't say, man, imagine if I add this. Like, you know what I mean? Because he developed this because of his lack of attributes, right? As a necessity to figure out ways to still dominate and impact. So why wouldn't the super athlete look at Brunson and say, you know what I mean? They don't pick this kind of stuff up until their career dwindles, till their athleticism dwindles, and they have to reinvent themselves.
Yeah. It's, I think when you have a certain level of athletic ability, excuse me, it's hard to just say, oh, you know what, to keep yourself grounded. And when I say grounded, I don't mean like grounded as far as having being cocky, but like, it's hard to just say, you know what, I'm gonna play a below the rim game. You know what I'm saying? Because you can jump over people. What'd you say?
And play above? Can't you implement the footwork?
I think you can.
Still play above the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And still play. Like, wouldn't the athleticism only boost the effect of the footwork?
It would. But I think as a young player, you're like, why am I gonna do it? I could just jump over the guy. I could just blow past him. You know what I'm saying? I think it's your great ones, like SGA, who has learned how to mix the two. I don't think every young player can just do it. SGA's figured out how to mix the two and be effective doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think, I mean, you're right. If guys can do that, I mean, damn, there'll be, so many great players, right? But
it's like you're saying, ultimately it becomes like a defense mechanism, right? Or it becomes something that you master by necessity. You know what I mean? So which is, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not a necessity, it's hard to go out there and work on it and master it and perfect it. You know what I mean? And guys like Brunson, it was a necessity.
Yeah.
That was the way for him to elevate.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he's mastered it like no one other. Like nobody other. You know what I mean? But obviously, Brunson is going to be an all-star.
All-star.
You know what I mean? And he's mad popular. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an all-star starter. Because he's, very, very popular. I mean, now let's get to the battle. Now let's get to we knew Cat. We had a long conversation on Cat, right? We knew Cat. We know Brunson. Now, it's between Bridges and OG Anunoby. As far as who's going to be, can it be both? Can it be both?
We got to grab the number 1 seed, and we would have to grab it, and it seemingly looked like, we didn't just pass them. You know what I mean? We surpassed them. You know what I mean? Like we put a little distance between us in passing the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only way we get in 4. It's the only way we get in 4. We got to snatch that number 1 seed in the East, and it has to be convincingly. It has to be in parallel with the top West Coast teams too. Record wise.
Right.
I think that's the only way to get 4. And that goes back to my show earlier, this stretch right here.
That's the only way to get 4. Well, let's talk about Bridges.
Inside to Bridges. Bridges looking to post up Rozier, gets in the paint and knocks that one. Of course, holds the NBA record. Bridges off the feet from up. For the first time. Bridges pulls up from the elbow. Jumper's good.
The game-winning potential shot he missed, put it on his shoulders. Since then, averaging 26 a game, almost 9 assists a game. And oh, by the way, the
Hitting off the bounce.
Came close to
He's
the travel there.
consistently
Stolen by Bridges. Bad
filling
pass
his
from Billy Smith. And the Knicks on the board.
So watch Bridges finish Smith and errant pass. Bridges able to capitalize. Storing his stuff.
Pistons win the tip shot clock at 5. Shot blocked by Bridges.
Brunson
throws it up. Nice tip from McBride. And Bridges on the slam.
Once he blocks the shot, he continues down the court, playing volleyball with the Knicks. And Bridges the recipient with the sweet stuff.
The sound
Go Towns and offense.
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. Anyway, back to Bridges. Talking about Bridges. Again, Bridges, 16.8 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 4.3 assists per game, 1.8 steals per game. All right, so we're talking about Bridges now, whether or not he's all-star worthy. Right? And obviously we're comparing Bridges versus OG, and we might do something that's straight up a show that's just them two. But he fills up the stat sheet every night. Some people get upset because, they say he was supposed to be, like a super defender for the Knicks. Sometimes he can get bodied up. He likes to use his length instead of, using his strength, which makes sense because that's what his strengths are, right? I don't know. What do you think? Bridges, 16.8 points, 4.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.8 steals per game, consistently fills up the stat sheet, might be the most consistent Knick so far this season, right? Is his, it goes, he hasn't had he had maybe one explosive game, you know what I mean? So he hasn't had a bunch of explosive games and things like that, but he's been consistent. Is he all-star worthy to you, Tone?
I think he is in the conversation. This is a great conversation because there's a question of are they even hurting each other's chances? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Of we're talking about a third all-star. Like, are they hurting each other's chances because their numbers are so close in Mikal and OG? And I think there's a fair argument for both guys. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said he may be the most consistent. I do feel like, number one, when you talk about a guy who's playing every night, you don't get more consistent than that. You know what I mean? And he ain't missing games. I think it was evident as soon as we started seeing Mike Brown's offense. He was one of the guys, him and Deuce in particular, were two of the guys that you could immediately see the comfort level in what was being implemented and the changes that was being done to the offense. I think you've probably seen the most versatility from him on the team as well when it comes to, the backdoor cuts and how often we see him being the guy running the floor and getting the lob, long alley oops, like mid-court alley oops, and you know what I mean. There's a good argument for him. I think he probably has an uphill battle in the sense, though, that I think something has to be eye-popping, right, for him to get the credit that he may be being overlooked for. Because I think some of his shooting numbers are might be even in career high level right now for this year. But maybe cracking the 20-point number. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be something that's probably going to have to put him over the top. Unless, of course, like I was saying, the team success, you know what I mean? Then you got to start judging other things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. I think, they're going to battle it out between these two. And I don't know if they are having the conversation about, if they're having that conversation, but you know what I mean? It's going to be a battle between the two. There was a point when I thought OG was definitely leading it. Hakeem the Dream said OG is the best player on the Knicks and also the most important player on the roster. Brunson and Cat are horrible defensively, right? And so, since you brought up OG, we might as well take a look at OG's numbers, right? 15.4 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 1.8 steals. OG is inconsistent, though. Kind of inconsistent. I mean, I guess both of them are a little inconsistent, but he'll give you, like last night, he'll give you the dud every once in a while.
Here's the thing, though, son. As consistent as Mikal Bridges has been, OG has been just as consistent defensively. And I don't know if you could say the same, you know what I mean, on the flip side. Even though his overall numbers are great defensively, Mikal, I think OG you don't see a dud defensively on OG's side. You know what I mean? And you might see a dud.
That's true.
Every game or so, every other game or so with Mikal.
That's true.
So that would be my only pushback on that part. I think it's neck and neck, like you said. They gotta be battling for it. I think there's some things you could point out that OG has been great at this year. His attack at the rim, you know what I mean. His going to the rim with purpose. You know what I mean? Like, even his attacking, and again, this may be things seeping in from Mike Brown's offense that's benefited him, but even his leak outs and you know what I mean? Fast break dunks have been up, I think.
Yeah.
So he needs something that pushes him over the edge as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Can he get them rebounds to 8? You know what I mean? Like, that might add a little bit of oomph to his chances. I think getting his points to 20 might be a little bit tougher than Mikal.
There was a point in the season where I thought his points were going to be at 20. You know what I'm saying? It's the duds that he has that keep it there. It's those offensive duds that he has. And the issue is, like, he can get to the line better than Mikal.
Yeah.
Right? He can get to the line better than Bridges can. because he absorbs contact, and Bridges, normally fades away from contact. Listen, let me see. OG is shooting the ball. Let's see what is shooting the ball. 46.5% from the field, 38.5% from the 3-point line. That's what OG is shooting. 1.9 assists. I got 1.8. It's 1.9 assists per game. No, I got 1.9 assists up there. It's 1.8 steals per game. Just under a block, about 0.7 blocks per game. Bridges, on the other hand, they're shooting similar numbers, to be honest with you. I think that Bridges is just a little more, he's careful with his shot selection, I think. Right? So Bridges right now, he's shooting 52.5% from the field and 41.1% from three.
You said 52 from the field?
52.5% from the field, 41.1% from three.
That might be a career high for him. That might be the number that
52.5? Yeah, that's no. Actually, in Phoenix, his third year he shot 54%. Second year he shot 53%.
Okay.
Now he was averaging like 4 points a game, 7 points per game at that time too. So he wasn't taking as many shot attempts.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean he's at 16.8. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, talking about Bridges, he's at 16.8 points per game. I mean, he's almost at,
a
couple of hot games. He's getting close to 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he has the edge right now.
Yeah.
It would be a lot easier for obviously him to get to 20 than OG.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think OG has to jump that far offensively to pass him because of his level of consistency defensively. And again, I don't know how much that helps you in all-star voting, like your defensive effort or your two-way ability, but I feel like OG is having a great defensive year. You know what I mean? I don't know where he ranks in the defensive player of the year overall, because I don't watch everybody. Yeah, you know what I mean? And obviously, I would probably pick Wemby right now just because of his defensive impact. But yeah, OG man, he's having great defensive games where he's impacting us winning.
Yeah.
Whether he got 20 points or not.
Yeah. I mean, Bridges is too, because he's filling up the stat sheet.
He is.
Both of those guys, really do play their role, in what they're supposed to be doing for the team. Playing defense, filling up the stat sheet, scoring when they need to score. One of those two, it's going to be hard for all four, but one of those two might make it.
What's a bigger accomplishment to you, Sim? Both those guys making the All-Star team, or both those guys making all defense or defensive team?
That's a good question. I would say both those guys making all defense.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. That's much better.
Especially like for the team.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what like individually they like if you ask them and they honest, they may say All-Star.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for me, if both those guys could be on all defensive team, that's gonna say something about this year.
Right.
And I think they could be on their way. One in the first, one on the third, or whatever, however it plans out. Whatever, you know what I mean? But I think they can make an argument for him.
Yeah. Brahim said, I love OG, but I think Mikal takes the hardest assignment every night on defense. You agree with that?
I agree with it in the sense of how good guards are on every, like, you're gonna find a good guard on every team. On every, you know what I mean? On every team, he's gonna end up placing probably a tougher matchup for him. But I think the best players in the leagues are still wings.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I mean, but everybody don't got one. That's the difference. Like,
right,
everybody got a guard.
right.
So
Right.
consistently, yes, I think Mikal plays the tougher matchup more consistently night in, night out. But when you talk about the toughest matchups, it may be every third game. But it's OG.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be, hey, it's nice to have two guys that we're considering and looking to say, hey, these two guys, we know we got two that's definitely gonna make it, but here's two other guys that could possibly make it, and are at least in the conversation to make it. You know what I mean? So that's always a beautiful thing. When you got those kind of players out there on the floor, that shows how much depth you have and can have. Now, our bench, we need to well, I'm not gonna say, I was gonna say we need to boost the bench, but I keep forgetting we got guys out. Shamit and Deuce are out. So we should have a nice, once they get back, our bench should continue to be strong and these two guys playing the way that they play, we've been having guys in and out of the lineup. I'm hoping that soon we can just get some consistency with guys in the lineup, just playing a number of games together and actually coming to, like, really gelling.
Not for nothing, Sam, but who, as much as we hear the credit given to Mike Brown and everything else, but who's to say guys being out isn't the reason the opportunities have been awarded for, Tyler Kolek.
That is the reason.
Who's to say Clarkston's, I hate saying leash, but you know what I mean? Like, opportunities weren't expanded a little bit with some of these injuries.
Right.
Like we saw Mike Brown be quicker to sit Shamit. Quicker to sit Clarkson when Shamit was here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like he believed in Shamit. So
yeah, little tongue tied.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure, these guys had a chance to get some extra burn because these guys aren't here. You know what I mean?
But I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing when we're whole, because now it's going to be a new adjustment for Mike Brown as well, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be now he got to figure out a more in-depth, a more precise rotation, right?
Right.
Some guys are going to not play some games now. Some guys are going to play less now when we're whole. You know what I mean? Like, Josh Hart's role increased with Shamit gone, which in turn, we played great. So
we played great. Yeah.
Does he keep them same minutes and when we're whole?
Josh Hart?
Yeah.
I think he's going to continue to be the starter.
I'm not saying the starter, but I'm saying the minutes.
Minutes might come down some.
Went up a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of guys' minutes are going up. When you look at last night,
what I mean. Like, that next adjustment when we're whole is going to be just as crucial. You know what I mean?
When you look at last night's minutes, like, guys played a lot. Some guys played a lot of minutes last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the box score now. Okay, OG played 31, Josh Hart 33, Bridges played 37, Brunson played 36, Cat played 35, Robinson played 26, Clarkson 15, Kolek 15. That's basically 1, 2, 3. That's basically an 8-man rotation right there that he played. A couple of guys, your Vaselli played 4 minutes, Diawara played 3 minutes, but for the most part, you're talking about an 8-man rotation that he played last night. You know, and that's because you got Deuce out and you got Shamet out. You know, what are you gonna do? You know, I got those guys out there that can't really hoop. So,
who you think is impacted the most when we're whole?
Probably Kolek. I mean, you got 2 guards coming back when you're whole. Assuming that, you know, Shamet gets the burn that he was getting. Probably Kolek. You got 2 guards coming back. You know, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to see that it's not Kolek. You know, I love what he's doing, but I think he's still earning his stripes.
Kolek will get Yabusele's 4 minutes. Yabusele out the rotation, and I mean that's still.
Well, I'm hoping Diawara gets Yabusele's minutes and
that's true too.
Yabusele out the rotation.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. Me too.
Yeah, I'd rather that.
But you can't. You don't know. Here's the thing. Here's what I say about that. I think I would rather, like, in some ways, but we haven't really seen. Diawara hasn't had any breakout games, breakout moments, breakout anything, right? We've seen the value of a good Kolek game. You know what I mean? We've seen the value of a good Kolek run. We've seen the value of, you know, what he brings to the table and how it helps the guys on the court with him.
Yeah.
So the Diawara part is almost it's like wishful thinking. It's like what we project or what we, you know what I mean? Like we have no evidence of the benefits of it.
Right.
But he fits the trajectory. He fits the size. You know what I mean? He fits the slide in, but he could come in when OG's off the bench or on the bench.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Chop Low said, big belated birthday.
Appreciate you, my brother.
You know what I mean? No doubt. Happy belated birthday to my brother right here. For real. No doubt. But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. I apologize about couple of the technical difficulties, but we're going to head out. We just want to break down this all-star thing. You know, we got 4 candidates, 2 definites, 2 other maybes. So that's a good thing for the Knicks, man.
That's 2 in the possible when you talking spades. You know what
I'm saying? Word.
2 in the pop.
Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time, and we are up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench.